What's up, guys? It's TechSigs here, back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between virtual machines and containers, and then we're also going to be playing with a container using a Play with Docker here. So if you really want a low-level, detailed explanation of the really technical differences between containers and virtual machines, you came to the wrong video, because there is plenty of other resources out there that explain it way better than I could. But simply put, virtual machines and containers are very similar. The difference being, virtual machines I like to think of are way more rigid and hog up a lot more resources on the server than a container would. So a container is much more useful for a lot more simple and really quick and easy applications. Another way I heard this, another analogy, is that virtual machines are like houses, whereas containers are like apartments. So a virtual machine or a house will have a lot of different rooms that have a lot of different functions, and they can be really useful if you need to use all that and use all those resources, but they do hog up a lot of resources and a lot of space. Whereas a container can be any size. You can have just like a studio apartment or like all the way up to a penthouse, and they can be really specific. So if you just want one bedroom, a living room, and a bathroom, like you can do that, and it'll be able to be really light, not hog up a lot of resources, and be able to do that one or two things very efficiently. Whereas if you have a house, it's probably going to be a lot bigger, and it's going to hog up a lot more resources. So that's just like a really quick and kind of stupid, but it does help me think about the difference between virtual machines and containers. Virtual machines, I just think of like way more rigid and resource hungry, because they have to, I believe, use two operating systems, the main one and then one for each application, whereas Docker just uses one that interacts with all the instances of containers. So with that, I'm just going to go in and start playing with Docker a little bit so we can start this up. We have a new session here, our very own server space. And we're going to click here. We're going to do one manager, one worker. Get this loaded. And then we're going to go into manager one, and then we're going to get here, and we're going to go the OpenFaaS, copy that. This is a way that we can mess around with microservices. Let's start this up. Getting ready. All right. So we're good here, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this password. And then copy that. And then we're going to go into OpenFaaS. Let's see if I have a link to it. Oh, I'm sorry, I was being a dummy there. Yeah, you open up port 880 or 8080. And we're going to do admin for the username, and password is that long password that we just copied. Sign in. No, we do not want to save that. And then we can, here we have OpenFaaS, and we can mess around with microservices. So these are really useful for doing one specific things. And modern apps usually deploy these all over their application to have one specific instance of that one thing they're trying to do. So we'll do this one as a good example. So let's say maybe like Instagram or something wanted to have a feature where if you took a black and white photo, I don't know why you'd want to do this, but if you took a black and white photo and you wanted to colorize it, they could just have this little piece of code, have this little microservice, and when you click the colorize button, it would automatically run the AI or however it works and give you the colorized image. So we can find an image here. Let's find a good one. These are kind of hit and miss if they work. Let's try a penguin. Who doesn't like penguins? Copy image, and then we're going to copy the image. Oops. No. Click the colorize one, copy the image, Control V, Control. Don't tell me. Ah, it didn't work. Copy. Oh, that's why. Copy image. Copy image address. Sure, copying the right thing. That should work. Now it's gonna run that. It's probably gonna take a little bit, and then it's gonna give us the output here. Here we go. Hey, that's pretty good. So there you go. It ran it. It ran it somewhere else on on the container, and then it sent it back to us. And that's it. And then, so let's say for an app or something like that, it could just run that however many times for each individual instance that someone wants to run that, and then send it back to them. So it's very light, and it does one specific function. All right, guys. This took a little longer than I wanted to, but that is the basics of how a VM differs from a container and how Docker works very, very briefly. All right. Hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you guys next week.